following is a special presentation. From the Captain Esports Network.
All right, happy Sunday. Welcome in to Atlanta Motor Speedway as we get you ready for a special evening or event of racing. I'm so used to doing broadcasts at evening time. It's weird doing one in the afternoon, but that's all good. We're ready to have some fun here. The National Sim Racing League, NSR, as they are otherwise known as, in the Xfinity Series, about to go racing here around Hotlanta for 250 miles, 163 laps of racing in race number 2 of their season. Of course, race number 1 was at Daytona last week. That 120-lap event. Race number 2, of course, here in Atlanta. The Daytona race won by John Williams in a pretty close side-by-side finish. Will we see more of the same tonight? Well, there's a chance because we got super speedway racing once again at Atlanta Motor Speedway. So I think we're in line for a pretty good event here, and a pretty fun event, I should say, as we get ready to go racing on this 1.54 mile race track. So this is an open setup series that runs multiple races, obviously, throughout the campaign. As a matter of fact, as I am on their Discord page right now, their Xfinity schedule consists of 13 races. They have a 10-race regular season and a 3-race playoff. Of course, their season was at Daytona last week, and they pretty much follow, the most part, the Cup's schedule or the Xfinity schedule, with a couple added tracks in there. Like, for instance, in March, they'll be at Auto Club Speedway, which isn't on the schedule anymore. But the championship race coming up May 11th, Mother's Day weekend there at Darlington. And obviously still plenty of races to go here. But for today, 4 sets of tires. There are stage racing involved. And that'll be a lap 40 and lap 80 for the stages, and then 163 laps to the finish of this 250-mile race. And then next week they'll hit their West Coast swing as they'll hit Vegas, Phoenix, and Auto Club Speedway for their next 3 races. But as mentioned before, it is Atlanta Motor Speedway, and we welcome you guys in here to the Captain Esports Network. You'll actually see us the next 2 races, the Cup race on Wednesday night, and in here this afternoon for the Xfinity race. So ready to go here on this Sunday. And as a matter of fact, practice is wrapping up right now. So let's go into qualifying and let's see where they will start for the race. Of course, 2 laps. Going to be the old throwaway lap as per usual. And go from there. And this is a replay stream, by the way, this is a live stream, but the replay of the race. I just thought about this. I'm not going to be able to see any of the cars. So good try on that one, Scala. So let's just do this. Let's jump to the national anthem. And sometimes just things go unplanned. We'll go to the national anthem. We'll come back and get you ready for the race here on the Captain Esports Network.
see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
All right, let's get ready to go racing as the cars are on the grid. And we'll set up the starting lineup here for the Hotlanta 250 at the virtual Atlanta Motor Speedway. Mike Bruno going to start on the pole, 32 flat pretty much with a 9. Alongside him, Dakota Ehrman in the 42 car. Eddie Rose and Justin Cope, they'll take row number 3. Ralph Hutchinson, Jason Hastings in row number 3. Row 4, Stoney Benfield, the faster pastor. Mark Saccoci, they're in the 8th position. Rick McDaniels and Miguel Alvarez will start in row number 5. Row 6, Brad Miner. Alongside him going to be the 12th place starter, Michael Whitaker, there in the 58 car. Chris Wise and Joshua Slade in row 7. Row 8, Johnny Taylor, Quentin Sutphin, Scott Nagus, and Tyler Justice in row 9. Eric Schaefer, Jesse Priest in row number 10. Row 11 is where you'll see Brandon Banks, along with Cameron Combs, Craig Parks, Dylan Waterman there in row number 12. And final starter in the grid, Craig Minton in the 25th position. Race information tonight: 163 laps, as mentioned, 250 miles. It's 1.54 mile track, 78 degrees, and track temp at 96 in stages 40 and 80. And there will be cautions for those stages. And then we'll reset and go for the last 83 laps to the finish of this races. Bruno's going to pit road for some reason. That's going to hand the lead in the pole to Eddie Rose, so not sure what that's about. Well, we're going to come to the green flag at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Sit back, enjoy Sunday afternoon racing before the Cup race. Here on the Captain Esports Network, we welcome you in. Our cameras tonight presented by TrackCams22.com. You can check them out on Facebook and the iRacing forums at TrackCams22.com as these cars get up to speed. I am not sure what exactly happened to Mike Bruno. I'll have to investigate that situation. Cameron Combs started the race, it appears, as we cross the line in lap 1. With Eddie Rose leading the lap. But Dakota Ehrman at 42, blue and black car up on the top side. Should have a lot of grip in it. I actually just got done running the NIS race, or wrecking it, I guess I should say. Fortunately, my perfect run 30 for the NIS. As off of pit road. That is Eric Schaefer. That I saw there? Could be wrong. A lot of these cars I'm not really familiar with, so forgive me if I sound kind of naive. So smart here, which, well, that eliminates that purpose. But anyways, Justin Cope. Well, that face is awesome right there now. Ralph Hutchinson there in the 15 car running in the 4th position. That's him on the inside lane. Cope up there on the top side in that 59 car. Of course, the 4, Jason Hastings also this lead pack. Everybody being kind of patient here so far early in this race. Not sure how the Xfinity car is going to handle this, but I know the Cup car seemed like he got real tight later on in the run. As the tires wore out, right front kind of took more of a beating, so you wonder how these cars, if they're going to drive off the right rear, still might wear out the right rear a little bit more than the right front or whatnot. Down the backstretch, you got about 15 cars or so in this lead pack. I think that 20. So we had Quentin Sutphin, Mike Bruno, Johnny Taylor, and Cameron Holmes. All not take the green flag here. Not sure what the Bruno situation was, but he was the pole sitter and pulled off the track. The rest of them either got lost in traffic, potentially on 75 or something. Bump there from Hutchinson down to turn 3. Just trying to be patient here. Seeing both lines working pretty well. Usually get to see some of the, from just previous experiences of the broadcast here with this league. You get to see different teams that'll come in. Some of the higher up teams will come in with some of their drivers and with their setups and stuff and running this series. So I'm seeing a few of those names. And you get these drivers that just come in here, just want to have some fun running an open setup league. You don't get many of these. There's a few out there. Starting to kind of edge ahead there in that front side. Here in the 8th position right now, right where he started. The boss man here in the league will actually get to see his pig crew do some work here since he sent me the file, and it's always a cool little feature to show when you get these kind of races. Up to 107 78 miles an hour, almost under the 80s, kind of lifting there to give the 4 cars some room. Plenty of room here, obviously. Swapping out the lead. Hutchinson, Cope splitting the inside and outside lanes there. You get the 4. Jason Hastings, the faster passer. Stoney Benfield there on the bottom side in that 75 car. Kochi and McDaniels splitting road number 4 there. Here towards the end of the package where you see Dylan Waterman, you got Brandon Banks back here, Jesse Priest, Craig Parks, Craig Mitten. Mitten is literally tail end Charlie in this pack. There he is back here. And SO2 just kind of being patient, letting this race come to him. A lot of these guys seem to be doing that. Not a bad idea. That 3 car is Eric Schaefer, by the way, in that pink and black. Number 3, seeing the first one a lap down right now, waiting to get yellow here and get that lucky dog. And of course, he'll get to the stage break unless a wreck happens. Just realized how loud the audio was in the cars. I'm sure they were drowning me out a little bit there, so sorry about that. The faster passer in that 75 car. The 811 sponsorship there. I believe. Oh no, he's got a different spotter. I got mixed up. I thought I saw 811 on the car. Never mind. He has it's got the colors on it. Oh yeah, it's on the side. Never mind. I thought it was on the hood too. You get used to seeing like certain looks and whatever. There's Stoney. We're sitting right down there on his door, almost trying to side drive just slightly, but in a patient way. Well, that is one heck of a sponsor to have with Waffle House. Pepto-Bismol. Well, the good news is nobody here is doing any fuel saving, so we're straight up racing in packs of 2x2, which is cool. And a lot of these names I'm unfamiliar with, but there's the 22 car Brad Miner on the inside there, a Black Rifle Coffee Mobile, the camouflage, if you can see him, car. Has the completely black car. I can't see if there's even a number on there. I think it's like literally out of the fab shop or something car. There's something on top. The 50, even though it's Dylan Waterman, I believe. Oh no, it's Michael Whitaker, the 58 car. That's who that is. Just to update, Michael Bruno is on track. He's a lap down now in the 82. I thought he had not started the race. He did, and there he is in the 19. Tyler Justice has completed 11 laps. He went back behind the wall. Quentin Sutphin went behind the wall. Johnny Taylor made a cameo on pit road, apparently. And Cameron Combs still stuck in traffic on 75, apparently. It can be kind of hectic there in the Hampton area, trust me. Justin Cope with the mirror image from Shrek is what comes to my head when I see that. And I'm assuming that's what that is. Appreciate the viewers who are checking us out here. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. If you're not new, we appreciate you joining us. Of course, we'll be back here Wednesday night for the NSR Cup Series. We're going to get a special Wednesday broadcast before I go back to my original Wednesday planning. We'll get that on the air at about 7:45 or so, as race usually begins about 8:10. And that'll be from Las Vegas. Scott Negus here in the 13th position. Oh, getting loose, and now they're wrecking. Turn one, somebody got loose. 21's gone around at Chris Wise. Caution is coming out. And that happened up near the front. Stoney Benfield involved, it looks like. Unfortunately, the faster passer behind the wall. Sikochi with damage. I saw somebody get loose, it looked like, up on the top side. Let's check it out. No crash cam here. Is it Sikochi that got loose? Oh, he sure did. He got that seam, it looks like, or something, and that right rear just come around. Added 25 to it, and then one car goes right through Stoney. Mark's not going to feel good about that, unfortunately. Let's, he just loses the back end. 25, nowhere to go. Let's see who that is that got shot up into the wall there. It looks like 3 or 4 cars involved. And there's your 2 worst ones, unfortunately. Bringing out the caution. That didn't do what I wanted it to do. Did it? Well, I was trying something experiment-wise. That didn't work out well. Let's see. Or did it work? Yeah, we're good. Lap 24. Oh, all right. There we go. All right. So never mind. We're good. Thought I hit the wrong button. So Rick McDaniel going to be the leader of the race here, as we get about 14 laps to go before the stage break. Got plenty of cars on pit road getting damage fixed, or maybe getting a little bit of a undercut potentially here with taking tires and fuel now, and then not have to take tires and fuel until the end of stage 2. Because you're in that window right now with the 14 laps to go, going another 40. Should be able to make it to the end. Now, never mind, I'm doing the math wrong. Lap 80 is the end of the stage. So no, you will not make it. It's interesting. It's still showing Eddie Rose up front here, so maybe things are just jacked up with. Yeah, it is Rose actually leading here, so forgive me for the timing and scoring's not cooperating 100% right now. It should hopefully update itself here once we go green. But it's showing McDaniels as the leader right now. He is not. All right, we'll go green here, lap 28, so 12 laps to go before the end of the stage. That car's doing some weird things. We'll see if the restart fixes the timing and scoring. If not, I'll update it real quick and get it right. As we'll come to the green, lap number 28, it's Rose actually up front with the 59 of Justin Cope second. As we go back to green. I think I know what's going on here. Yep, that's exactly what it is. So Mark probably has it selected to only have certain cars on the track, a certain amount of cars. So I'm going to have to kind of bounce back and forth here a little bit with him being off the track now. Try to call this to the best of my ability. Let me see if I can. Obviously, the 56 still out there in the front right now. Give me a second. We're trying to work through the technical issues I'm having. All right. So the 46 up front, of course, the 15 there behind him. In the outside lane there running that top side, you see the 59 of Cope there behind. And so what's going on is there's a selection of cars that on this particular race that the guys allowed as options. So what's going on is it gets out of view and those cars are disappearing. So that's what we're seeing. It's not like anybody having reception issues or anything like that. Just to kind of clarify what's going on here for those who might not know. As we're at 5 laps to go, we're going to finish this stage, and I'm actually going to pause for a second here, just FYI. So I'm going to try to call this the best I can here to get to the end of the stage. As the 45 arose up front. As they pass a lap car there, 25 unfortunately damaged in that wreck. McDaniel up there on that top side in that 16. Hutchinson top side in the 15, trying to bring that second row around. As Cope up front in that 59. He's got Slade there behind him, pushing him. And I should say there's actually the car in front of Rose, the 46 here. The 16 gets up in the wall. I was going to say, can the 15 get up there and challenge? But that just hurt that outside lane a little bit. That's actually going to open the door. Will Cope want to make a move here in that Ford to get around Rose for the lead? Should be the final lap of the stage right here. I'm keeping count in my head. Here comes the 15 of Hutchinson to the top side. Going to try to get the run for the lead here. Gets up to that outside. Gets to the second car on the inside. Can he get to the top? To make the move as they come to the line, it is going to be Rose getting stage number 1 in a rather calm race back to the checkered flag of stage 1. All right, so I'm going to go to my logo here for a second. We'll come back and get you stage number 2 here momentarily on the Captain Esports Network. All right, back we are. I think I hit a button that screwed up the timing and scoring by doing that, so I apologize for that, and I realized let's just get through the end of the stage and come back to you, and here we are. Everything's fixed up. We're at the end of stage 1, and now the cars are on pit road for pit stops. Sometimes you learn live on the air what's going on, and it happens. But we appreciate everybody's patience here as everybody's in who's on the lead lap. Should be 4 tires and fuel for everyone. And Rose going to win the race off pit road with ease. Cope going to be second. Hutchinson, Whitaker, and Hastings your top 5. There's a navigation button in the program I use that allows me to move up a lap or whatever. And I went to do that, and it, well, messed everything up when it comes to that situation. So I'm noticing Johnny Taylor's on the track here. So with that, that tells me obviously, yeah, that we are operating with a limited amount of cars basically in the frames. So if you bear with me, obviously I'm going to call this the best I can. Just to kind of update that. So basically what's happening is depending on where the driver is on the track, which in this case Mark's behind the wall, or at least on pit road, it limits the amount of cars in view for him. It helps him frame-wise racing. A lot of people do this. I actually have it set up to max because of the broadcasting computer I have. So because of that, you're seeing drivers show up and then not show up on the timing and scoring. And then they're on the track and then they're not on the track. See like how they're blinking out like that? So bear with me here because we're going to have cars like I've just noticed that the 88 of Johnny Taylor is actually on the track and on the lead lap. I was saying earlier he was not in this race. So we see him. I see a couple other cars that are actually here in the race that maybe I did not see on the stream. So just be aware of that. Just bear with me if I say something that might not be true. You're on the track and you're really not. As we go back green here on lap number 44 of 80 to get to the end of stage 2. Here we go. Rose will pop up here in a second as he leads. Everybody's going to disappear, and as they do that, that's when I try to click back on the front. So there's a little trick here I'm starting to figure out that I'm going to have to do throughout the race, which is fine. We're going to make this happen, boys. As Rose continuing to run that bottom and lead. Obviously, the 15's now moved to the bottom. And I see my straight cameras pop back up, too. There's one car moves it back. That is the 3 of Cher. See Hastings right there in the bottom with the 58 of Whitaker. See the 14's kind of moving to the back of the line. Tyler Justice now up in the picture here. Tyler running in the 6 car there, 4th position after starting back in the 14th spot. Just the one caution so far for a wreck, and then the Sage caution. Skochi getting loose there on lap 25 and taking out 3 or 4 cars in that wreck, but otherwise been some pretty clean racing for the most part here. As you see Cope up there at 59 trying to take advantage of that outside line. He's going to get to the outside of Rose. Really a lot of help though on that top side as Hutchinson's kind of fallen off. Whitaker, I should say, he's fallen off of him. You know, we saw a couple cars get loose during that first stage. You wonder if they tightened them up a little bit. You also wonder how much maybe the track now cooling down, as you see it, a lot of it getting into the shade now. Miner doing a good job. That 12 car behind him, that's Josh Slade, as I mentioned. He's got a smiley face on his hood. Is that what I saw? Cope might have led that lap at the line. That was pretty close. And one car getting up into the wall there. That is someone. Looked like the 0 car getting up there in the outside wall of Jesse Priest is who that was. Couldn't tell at first. Priest obviously a big Steelers fan by the photo. Looks like no harm, no foul to that car as we continue on. So he rides now in the 13th position, going to kind of hang back there with the 21 car. Inside line has just done a great job of keeping hooked together here. It's pretty much been the difference in this race. How about Mike Bruno there? That 19 car is starting to get back into the picture here. Pole sitter. Went a lap down, had to come down pit road to fix something. Bruno got the lap back there under that caution and now is sitting there 6 car inside lane behind the Kellogg's number 17 of Parks. And Rose has just been dominant up front, controlling that inside lane. That 46 obviously showing he's got some speed. I mean, the 59 doing everything he can, but it just seems like the 54 of Whitaker just, or I'm sorry, the 58 of Whitaker just can't get up there to help you. That or just doesn't have the help behind him. I think it's exactly what it is. Doesn't have really the help behind him. That's getting him up to the 59. The 59 might just be that fast where you can't get to him. There's so many different things there in play. Tyler Justice, that Liqui Moly car, started in the back. And matter of fact, he just joined the league like an hour before the race, I've noticed. He wants to get some little beginner's luck here in that 6 car and put this thing in victory lane. Doing a good job here so far. Thank you, viewers, for joining us here on this Sunday afternoon as we get ready for the Atlanta Cup race. And tonight, another stream coming up at 8:30 Eastern time, as we always do, as somebody's getting loose in the back. The 21 of Chris Rise. No caution, as I saw he and another car. Stay green. As look at this, somebody to the lead outside of Eddie Rose as Justin Cope gets a push from the 4 car of Jason Hastings to the lead for a split second here. Rose either getting tight on entry there or sliding up trying to side draft that 59. Real tough to see because you can get tight sometimes in these cars as one car gets in the outside wall, the 16 back there. So I'm starting to wonder if that's exactly what the deal is. The 58 maybe cannot get to the back of that 59 car, and you see the 4, that Waffle House Pepto-Bismol stomach issue machine. Giving the push to that 59. 18 laps to go here in stage 2. Again, 80 laps. And we'll have another caution, and then we'll go 83 laps to the end, which obviously could involve a green flag pit stop, which would be interesting. Schaefer back here in the 3 car, about a second or so back. There he is, kind of blinking out there for a split second. And again, that's not these cars blinking out. There's just an issue with the registered cars on the track, and that's what we're seeing here. And that's why you haven't seen me really move a lot off of other cars, is because I'm trying to stay on cars that are staying on the track the whole time. But there's Schaefer in the 3, riding behind the 55 of Negus there in the... Let's see what that sponsor is. Ooh, 46 loose on entry there. And that's Negus getting loose over there in the 55, going to go to the grass. And he's able to save it, no caution, as we stay green. So we're going to have a point in the race where if you've got a loose setup, you're kind of getting free if you're set up to be tight. Sun's starting to come out, and you wonder if that's part of the weather. Let's take a look here real quickly at how we're looking. 94 degrees right now in the track temp, so it's not too hot. You just see the cars getting loose. For those watching, FYI, there's a podcast now you can hear on the Captain Esports Network called the Scalacast, which talks about all the league racing you see here on the Captain Esports Network. You can join us usually on Wednesdays. We get it released. We record it on Mondays, and I get it released to you on Wednesdays. We kind of recap the Cup race and talk about all the NASCAR news and other news in motorsports. And then we'll talk about our iRacing experiences, me, Matt Telder, and Stephen Miles. Talk about my NIS wreck earlier, and so on and so forth. But you can join us for that. And Wednesday we'll have another release of episode number 8 here on the Captain Esports Network, also on Spotify, on iHeartMedia, as the 4 gets shuffled out. And I think Johnny Taylor is coming to pit road there, the 88. Ooh, getting tight. 16 and 17 door bang. We still got 11 laps to go before the end of the stage, but racing's starting to pick up here. Just got to spread the pack out a little bit. Ooh. On board with Hutchinson here in the 15 car. 4 tires and fuel, by the way, for Johnny Taylor. It's probably a scheduled stop, I would assume. Taylor must have gotten back on the lead lap there at that caution. Now, tonight's stream, by the way, from the Richmond Raceway, so some short track racing on the Captain Esports Network tonight, so hopefully you can come join us for that. That'll start at around 8:15 Eastern Time. And 9 laps to go in stage 2. Of Bruno starting to get into this battle. See Hastings still up there with Whitaker, Hutchinson. Tyler Justice now up to the 2nd position behind Justin Cope. So that 6 has done a great job of managing through the pack and now leads that outside lane. Can he get up there and win stage 2 after starting back in the 18th position? This track being 1.54 miles, obviously a mile less than Daytona. Track width is about as wide as Daytona. It used to be a wider track. And there goes the 59 spin into the inside. Going to spin back across the track. Not sure if caution's going to come out or not. And caution is out. Caution out for the 3rd time. Justin Cope leading the inside lane. Goes for a spin. And that's going to make this race very interesting. All right, let's see what happens to the 59. I think he just got loose on the inside lane, or did he get some help from the 46? Let's find out here. He pops back in the camera. There he goes. Yep, there's only one way to tell. Go to the crash cam. Got loose on entry there, and he is going to get nudged right there. Just that little bit getting into the left rear, coming out of the corner will de-wedge that car, and great job by Cope to lock it down because he was heading right for the infield wall, almost near where Victory Lane used to be back in the old Atlanta Motor Speedway. Actually spun into pit road on the old Atlanta. So he's going to log it down. I'm not going to hit another button. We're just going to let it roll. And caution out here for the 3rd time. And we got 6 laps to go, so we'll have a little green-white checker, if you will, to the end of stage number 2. And cars coming to pit road, starting with the 46, Eddie Rose. Whitaker coming in, Jason Hastings on pit road. They're going to get tires and fuel here and maybe they're going to pull the undercuts. What they're going to do here, they're going to get to the stage break and then come back and be the leaders at the end of stage number 2 here. So not really worried about the stage points in this race, or at least in the 2nd stage. Of course, Rose got him in the 1st stage. How about this? Getting some interesting news into Joey Logano will start from the rear of the field for a safety violation today. Will also serve a pass-through penalty. Apparently his gloves do not meet SFI specifications. Interesting. Never heard that before. All right, pace car, which, trust me, is there. We'll pull off and we'll go racing here with 4 laps to go. In stage 2. As we'll come to the Geico restart zone, and Tyler Justice leading. Hutchinson on the outside. He and Bruno going to get a great start. I'm guessing they're teammates with the paint schemes. With the spread out start, inside lane's going to have a big advantage right here. Only 2 cars in the outside lane right now. And unfortunately for Miner and those guys are going backwards. As Ehrman's starting to get back into the picture here, comes the 16 with him of Parks. McDaniels. Outside lane trying to get something organized. Inside comes the 42. Jesse Priest getting shuffled out now, 3 wide back towards the back. Gonna have cars on fresher tires trying to get through. I think the 46 of Rose might have got the wall. As should be white flag this time for the stage. You don't really see the white flag. As Hutchinson going to try to make a move topside. You see Justice makes the move to the top side, going to make a one-on-one he versus Bruno. Pretty smart move on Tyler's part as they come across the line. Tyler, Justice will get stage 2. That was close. Seti close. And that'll bring the leaders here to pit road. And we should see a lie up. There goes Rose staying out as expected. Should be 4 tires and fuel for all the cars coming to pit road. You see the 3 cars that stayed out. Rise is going to get the lucky dog. And race off pit road going to go to Hastings. Did he do 2 tires maybe? Johnny Taylor going to come out fourth. He took advantage of that last caution, took the lucky dog, and now gets himself up there into the top 5. As caution comes out for the second time, we're going to step away just for a quick second. We'll keep the stream, or keep the race here up on the screen. And we'll come back for the green flag of stage number 3 here in a second on the Captain Esports Network. All right, getting ready to come back to the green. And obviously, Eddie Rose, Michael Whitaker, Jason Hastings are your top 3 with the Rose and Whitaker automobiles. Staying out here using the caution. Just 5 laps to go to come to pit road. Get fuel and tires, so we'll have to keep an eye on that as we have 60 laps to go as we'll come to the green. Still got maybe one more pit stop to the finish. We'll have to see. As we go green. And we'll let you even turn it, well, we'll try to turn it up here for a second. How's that? So Rose still up there in the lead. New guy in second, Johnny Taylor, who spent most of this race a lap down for different reasons. Just him in that 88 car in the inside lane. Jason Hastings up there top side with Whitaker. Hastings been pretty sporty in that Waffle House car. Two liquid moly cars there in the 6 and the 19. I think the 8 of Mark Sikochi is back on track, which has helped us a little bit with keeping the cars on the track here. As you see the 6 jump up here to help the 4. Giving Hastings a little push. 88 of Thomas going to jump up there. It's going to kill the inside line momentum. And now then the 59 and 12 get tangled up and go for a spin. The 16 involved. Add the 17 and 42 to the list. And the caution is out. And if there was ever a fuel question, that just went bye-bye. Tough break for Justin Cope, who was running up front most of this race. And 3 wide with Shearer at the bottom. Oh, and Shear just missed the corner there and gets into the 12. 22 with a lot of damage. The 59 with some damage. So Cope, who of course ran up front most of this race here so far, finds himself in a bad spot. And caution back out. So Rose, Taylor, Hastings, Bruno, Whitaker. You wonder if anybody's going to come in here. I do see some cars, which might be more getting damage fixed. Dearman, Cope, Minor. Yeah, I would say most of these cars are in for damage fix. For the most part here. I mean, you could still top off the tank and actually be okay if you can get your car fixed and up to speed. But obviously barring some kind of overtime finish. You see Tyler Justice going to come to pit road, going to bring Priest with him. Looks like Brandon Banks, Eric Schaefer. I think I've been saying Shearer the whole time. Schaefer. Sorry, Eric. There's a Eric Shearer, I believe, on iRacing. That's where I think I got that from. So apologies to both Erics. As, yeah, everybody just topping off the fuel cell here. They do got 4 sets of tires, but obviously want to use those kind of wisely because you get another caution late in this race and you're towards the back of the field. You can throw those 4 balonies on the car and make them go to work. So Eddie Rose, who's led the most laps here this evening, or this afternoon, he'll be the leader here. Johnny Taylor, Jason Hastings, Mike Bruno, Michael Whitaker, your top 5. As we go back green here, lap 93. Back into the battle here after just getting the green flag in the 42. Looking pretty sporty here. Hutchinson there behind him. We'll move to the bottom lane. Johnny Taylor, of course, now the 4 of Hastings to the inside there, right down on the door. Like the Custom Works Waffle House sign down there. So 19 of Bruno there with him. And Thomas going to try to work his way up to the front here. Rose has had that car pretty much planted right down on that white line the whole entire race. Hold off the double 8. Cool looking Budweiser paint scheme on Thomas's car. Don't break my camera. How much of these cars moving around? Well, we'll let you see. Let's do a crash cam here. Of course, you'll notice today when you see this track on TV, not as dark as this in iRacing, because that track has taken some wear and tear already. After 3 years, I've been debating with some friends, and they really haven't disagreed with me. They really haven't answered back to me when I bring this up. But, you know, 3 years ago, and I go off the history of this track, you know, when they repaved this thing and did what they did to it, making it 28-degree banking and turning it into a super speedway, you know, I argued that I don't know how long this will last because of the way the Atlanta area with the weather that this track wears. You go back to 97 when the track was repaved. Jeff Bodine ran that 197 mile an hour lap. You know, they repaved the track, and within 2 or 3 years, it was worn out or starting to wear, and people were running the bottom to the top, and obviously tires were already starting to come into play and stuff like that. So, you know, we're at year number 3 of this track. So the wear is already there. It's starting to wear in, and I think that's part of what played a role in last night's Xfinity race, where people were unhappy about the way that race went, and could play a role today in the Cup race. But it's getting to the point where I think NASCAR is going to look at it and say, hey, might have to take the tapered spacers off this car and let it just be a straight up race now. And let the handling play the cars. Will they do that? Probably not, but I think it needs to happen. 101 laps complete. This time, guys, still got 62 laps to go. We still got one more stop likely in this race to get to the finish, but the way these cars have been handling, you have to wonder if we'll make it to those pit stops. We've seen cars get loose in the pack. Right with Jesse Priest. 180 mile an hour into turn one. You hear him kind of lift off the throttle a little bit. And look at that car. I don't know if it got loose there or if he just moved to the bottom. I want to go with A on that one. He's fighting it. Let's watch his hands here. And he lets the car unload up the track so he doesn't get loose coming out of the corner. Same thing in turn two there to get the car turned to the bottom side there. And when he did that, it unwound it brought the back end around and almost spun it out. So the 15 cars on the lead lap are in this lead pack. All the way back here to the Craig Mitten car, who's been just chilling back there all race long. You got Craig Parks, who's the first car a lap down, 16th, and he's the only car really a lap down. Dylan Walterman is 7 laps down. So obviously Craig just kind of hanging, waiting to get the lucky dog. Brad Miner off the track. McDowell is off, and Sakochi back on track. Try to gain some of this track position from these guys here. As up front, Tom is still, or Taylor, I should say, still trying to get up here and take this lead. Kind of falling off with the pace. Obviously, this track eating the tires up just a little bit. Taylor leading that lap on the outside lane. And add to 12 into the picture. Slade, after a little bit of contact there, bringing up the caution, is now up in this fight too. There he is in the 1-of-1 motorsports car. Something tells me he's the only driver on this team. Going to go to victory lane. Race number 2 of this NSR Xfinity Series. Appreciate you joining us here on this Sunday afternoon. Of course, we'll be back Wednesday for the series, the Cup Series at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. a couple special events that we're covering here to help out NSR as, I thought the 58 was going to put himself 3 wide there. Shout out to Mark Sikochi, actually got with me last night and said, hey man, need a little help, would you mind stepping in? Of course, I've had no problem working with Mark, and whenever I can, would love to fully commit to broadcasting this series, but obviously we've talked about it, and with the others, with what, 5 other series I'm covering, 4 other series, it's, don't want to get the burnout rate up. I'm the only guy, I'm a one-man show. I do appreciate him reaching out whenever needed, and I'm available. I'm glad to help out whenever I can. As Hastings, which I gotta find out where he got this photo at. Because one thing I thought would be cool to see drivers do is I know Fox does it with their broadcasts and people hate it, but I think for iRacing it would actually be kind of cool. But you know, some people are kind of shy to put the photo of themselves in here. So it's like, why not make an AI character then or something? Check on the 59 here, Justin Copen up front most of the night. Of course, got involved in that incident a little bit ago, and here he is in the 12th position. Starting to make some moves here in that 59 car, in the Shrek mirrored photo car. Schaefer running a, looks like Negus paint shop car. Tells me that Mr. Mark back, or Scott I should say, back here in the 55 car. Hey, the one must have had his car painted too by him. Like Scott likes painting cars. Cool. It's cool to see these local either businesses or even just hobby type of places that for paint shops or setup shops. I saw Paul's setup shop there in the back of one of the cars. You see those kind of sponsors come out here. It's kind of cool to see, because you're used to seeing like just people run paints of like businesses that are on like cup cars or whatever, but to see a league where you get so many local sponsors, and you get those in a lot of leagues I broadcast, but it's kind of cool to see. You never really get a chance to give them their proper respect. A 1.4 seconds separating first from 15th. And this is all your cars on the lead lap right here in this pack. So you really haven't seen them move around much to other packs or whatever. They got some lap cars they are coming up on. Let's check the pit board here real quick. We see the top 8. Actually, let's expand that out. Top 10. Took up 2-inch screen. You see where everybody pitted at. Taylor obviously pitted at 68 in 81, so he's got probably to lap 140 something to come to pit road. You see Rose at 41 and 75, and you see some others here at 90 where the caution came out, so 29 laps into this run. Obviously from 90 you'd have to go 73 laps, so that's not happening. So everybody expected to come in one more time to pit, and the $1 million question is, when do you do so? Obviously you want to have partners when you come to pit road, and you have a super speedway like setup. laps to go, and Eddie Rose going to try to make a move outside of Taylor. I keep saying the wrong names. Side draft Rose going into the corner, and that allowed him to slingshot out to the lead. Almost some contact with the 4 and 46. Getting kind of racy here up at the front. I'm very impressed with the patience a lot of these guys have had pretty much throughout the race. You know, there's been plenty of times you could see a car going 3 wide, but they've done a good job of just kind of backing out and letting the car get back in line. You get into an official session or something, and you'll see cars like that just fill that space up, and then you could have caution to see Taylor kind of going up there and throwing a defensive move on the top side. However, I think here in the next 20 laps, once you get to that pit stop, if not afterwards, I think those letting people back in moves aren't going to happen so much anymore. As for the 55 of Scott Negus, he has lost the lead pack. I see some damage on that right front, so maybe something of an incident happened and didn't see it. In the 17 car, potentially. If it did, it would have happened right in here somewhere. Let's see. You can see already the damage on that car. Tough break, unfortunately, for there. As that's where Taylor, you just heard a minute ago where you talked about him protecting the high line. So 50 laps to go next time by. Still got the one stop. And the $1 million question, when will that stop get here? Schaefer just actually ran the fastest lap of the race last time by a 31.87. So now you're starting to see, you know, tires are wearing out on these cars. With the draft, they're just getting the pull. Schaefer 31.81 last time. And then, of course, Minton just went 31.66. So now you're really starting to see the draft come into play. As we get closer to pit stops, I think you're going to see these cars try to get towards the front. And the action pick up here. See a little bit of damage on the 55. Might have been involved in that the incident with the... should give them a shout out because the 55 a few laps ago was back, if I remember correctly, out of the draft by like 5 seconds. So he made up a lot of time or something here. traffic here. That's the reason why I'm being hesitant here for a second. I'm noticing something on my screen. That's why I'm trying to fix something. So stand by. Taylor and Rose. See Taylor's still up front there. The 4 of Hastings trying to push the Rose car. And up top, Whitaker trying to get Ehrman up there towards the front. And I appreciate everybody hanging out with the network here throughout the afternoon as we get ready for the Cup race from Atlanta coming up in just a little bit. If you're new, hit that subscribe button. If you're not new, we appreciate you coming back to join us. Obviously, 58 getting a little loose there. Obviously, not the easiest of circumstances with the situation. Obviously, trying to help out the league here and putting the race on. It's I'm not used to doing recorded broadcasts, recorded racing. Like the broadcast is live. I'm live right now, Sunday afternoon, 2:05 Eastern Time. The race, however, was ran last night, and that's where we're seeing some of the little hiccups that I'm like getting caught up with and stuff. So you'll notice the 55 losing the pack. And I mentioned this a little bit ago during the race, and this is where I got mixed up. I looked down. I have a replay board down here to my right, and I think when I went back trying to find the replay of why the 55 had damage or whatever, I backed up to like 10 laps. and it showed 124 as the last replay showing on my screen. So that's why I was like, wait a minute here. I think I went back, and now we have to watch the 10 laps over again. So congratulations, you're not watching Groundhog Day. We just watched the last 10 laps over again. So it's fun. I'm having fun. Ford getting a little free down there on the bottom side. These cars starting to dance a little bit. And we're in the window just about, or actually we are in the window. You can make it to the rest of the race on fuel. The question going to be, though, when do you come to pit road? And then also, this pit road's not going to be easy to get onto at speed because you got to go from 175, 180 miles an hour down to 45. And you almost have to do it mid-corner and then slow down to the apron and try to get down. If you try to pit from the middle of the track, you are going to have a caution real quick. And you're probably going to be it. $14 cars up in this lead pack now. Tyler Justice hanging out in the 9th position right now. See what Tyler sees right now, looking around, just kind of making sure nothing happens around him. You see the lap car up ahead. He'll probably go to the top side here and let everybody by. Of Minor. look at Justice move to the top side. It's a really good run through 1 and 2 and is able to pull right up to the 58 there behind him. That 6 car got a good little power behind him. And look at this move topside now. Hey, he's in the wall. He might have tried a little hard. Hey, for effort. And had his own draft and everything working. Next race for this series will be next Saturday from Las Vegas. Second 200 lapper there, 300 miles. And as mentioned, the Cup race, which by the way you'll see here Wednesday night on the Captain Esports Network, that'll be a 200 lapper from Vegas. Coming up on February 28th, this coming Wednesday night. Remember, 29 days in February this year. Get the extra day. You got a birthday on that day. I don't know if it's unlucky or not, but happy birthday to you. Or whatever your age is divided by 4. All right, 31 laps to go. Looking at the pit numbers again, so the pit board back up. The last time people came to pit road, 75, 76, 81, 91. So for those who pit at 75, you're looking at almost 60 laps right now. 81, you're looking at obviously 52 laps. 91, 42 laps. And I would think that no matter what the strategy call is here, you're probably all pitting together. So you have your packs of cars or whatnot. So I don't know, it's going to get interesting. I think any minute now you're going to see these cars on pit road. The next question is, do you get tires and fuel? Do you just get fuel? Do you go 2 tires? The way this car handles, I mean, I've seen a lot of looseness, but I see the track looks like it's tightening up with the shade. I know the one thing I felt in the next-gen car on a long run was the tightness in it. Rose has been the guy to watch on the bottom side. He's led the most laps here, but Taylor is giving him a fight and has led a good portion of this second half of the race. And a lot of this is just calm before the storm. How about Brandon Banks? Haven't said his name all night. Now 1 car hanging there in the 13th position. I mentioned Mitten's been the tail end of the pack the whole entire time. He's been patient and been able to hold on. Watch this Let's go. I mean, look at this. I mean, yeah, I can't really see it from that view. Never mind. I thought I had a pit angle for you, but I don't. You know what? I think the 46 is letting these cars to the inside lane here, so I think we're going to get the pit stops here because now the 58 has dropped to the bottom, and Michael Whitaker's going to go to the lead here. So we wonder if that's maybe some teamwork going on there, but now you got the 42 and the 88 kind of stuck on the outside here, so get ready. I think pit stops are coming right here, if not in the next lap or two. Jumps out of line. I think the 42 and 88 are trying to clear the 58. They've got the 88 clear. 42's clear. If he pulls down, he ain't clear now. Got him out of spotter. I probably got him wrecked right there. 24 to go, and now Ehrman has got Taylor cleared. And I think they're going to try to get Hastings up here now. Look at the teamwork going on here as everybody tries to get to the inside lane. Job getting Taylor out there with the shoves. Couple cars getting the outside wall back there, but what I'm noticing is a lot of these cars all of a sudden are spreading out. I don't know if they're just maybe giving each other some room here to. Oh, Sakoji's drifting. Put a lap on the 55 car, lost a draft a little bit ago. All spread out. Now all of a sudden we're too wide again. Laps to go in this Hotlanta 250, the NSR Xfinity Series from Atlanta, virtually on iRacing. Appreciate you guys for joining us. Waiting on the final round of pit stops here to potentially happen any minute and set up what we're going to have is an exciting finish. We've seen some pretty good racing here, some patient racing in this pack. Had a couple of cautions today, a couple for stage, but what, 2 or 3 wrecks, I think that's it. Otherwise, everybody's been very clean, very patient. see there are lights around the track, but there are no iRacing lights. Basically, iRacing still set up where this track don't have lights. I think would make this race very interesting if we ran this as a night race. But Taylor continuing to lead up front here, 15 to go. Ian Ehrman and Whitaker and Tyler Justice. Eddie Rhodes has been the guy that's led the most laps here today. Justice making a move topside here on the 58. And here come your pit stops. You see how they pulled down to the apron. Very smart move from these guys. Allows them to get down the speed of 45 miles an hour instead of stopping in the middle of the track, which I've seen people do. Stop way up there in the banking and then you see a wreck usually. So let's see what everybody does here. Looks like fuel only here for Whitaker. I didn't see his car lift up at all. Bruno, tires, it looks like. I see at least 2. He's going 4 tires and fuel here while the other guys pull out. Ooh, strategy. So Bruno 14.5. The rest of these guys 8 and 9 second stops. Oh, did Hastings get up too quickly on the line? Laps to go. Everybody out on the track now can pretty much, I would think, go another couple laps here. 90, 91 was when they came to pit road. 81 for Craig Mitten. If these guys can go 73 laps on a tank of fuel, that's impressive. That'd be 120 miles almost? 115 miles? Let's look at that zero car top side. Jesse Priest getting help from Schaefer. Ten laps to go. As the 6 goes to the outside, Justice going for the lead. And here comes Priest up the middle, 3 wide. All of a sudden, the racing picking up at the front. Maybe I'm wrong on the fuel mileage. I don't know. Wouldn't surprise me. Oh, Justice with a move on Schaefer. Craig Benton on pit road. That's the car that pitted at lap 81. With 7 laps to go, that tells me that these cars can probably make it. Because 81 plus 10 is 91, and we only have 7 laps left. Noted. 75 laps on a tank of fuel almost. All right. Five laps to go as they put another lap on the 55. Scott does a good job staying out of the way. As Justice Ehrman, Priest now up to third. Of course, Schaefer and Slade, your top five. Hutchinson's right there in sixth. Justin Cope's on pit road. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know here. Boy, best way to find out, just watch. Schaefer giving a bump to Priest there. Three to go. Priest to the outside now. See the one of Banks back there, maybe waiting to see if something happens. Advantage of a wreck or something in the last lap. We've seen it happen plenty of times on the Captain Esports Network here at this track. Well, if there's any fuel questions, that's out the window now because they're coming to the white flag. So they have made it 73 laps. They're going to end up running as they see the white flag. Final lap from Atlanta. See what I know about fuel mileage here? Justice with help from Ehrman on the bottom. He's got Slade down there pushing. Up top, you got Priest with help from the three of Schaefer. Can anybody make a move on the six? 2 by 2 as they come across the line, but it's going to be Justice taking a checkered flag and winning in Atlanta. Boy, the guys that did not pit are probably beating themselves up, probably expected a caution. It never got it. And Tyler Justice came in and topped off at lap 91. And took it all the way 72 laps to the finish. And picks up the win, and oh, by the way, signed up for the league all of an hour before the race. Justice celebrates. Let's show you the final results. The Hotlanta 250 as Justice wins it by 6/100ths over Ehrman. Priest finishing third with Slade and Banks your top five with Hutchinson, Schaefer, Taylor. Schaefer being the last one to lead lap in seventh. Taylor finishing eighth. Hastings, Whitaker, and Rose your top 11. Rose and these guys all had to pit for fuel at the end. Cope, Bruno, Mitten, and then Scott Negus finishing 15th. And the rest of the finishers, most of these guys had issues, I think, down this part of the grid. Parks, Walterman, Miner, Sikochi, McDaniel, Rise, Alvarez, Sutphin, Benfield, and Cameron Combs finishes, well, didn't even start the race, unfortunately, in the last position for him. There we go. All finished up from Atlanta. Hopefully you enjoyed the broadcast. Appreciate everybody working with me through the issues of not being exactly live per se for the race part. I'm live on the air right now with you, but we'll come back here later on this afternoon. Got another broadcast for you coming up at 7:30. You can stop waving the flag now, Barney. Just saying. Everybody's done. You can go home now. But appreciate everybody watching us here on this Sunday afternoon. Go enjoy the NASCAR Cup race. A reminder, the Scalicast podcast you can enjoy each and every week. Make sure you do click on episode 7. Pretty good interview there with Jason Dalton. For those who don't know him, he's a racer on one of the Captain Esports Network leagues. But we go from there. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday afternoon and Sunday evening. Enjoy your week. And always remember, this isn't just a game. It's iRacing. See ya!
This copyrighted broadcast may not be reproduced, reused, or retransmitted in any form without the authorized written consent of Captain Esports Network. Captain would like to thank all of his loyal fans for your continued support, and he hopes you enjoyed today's broadcast.
The following is a special presentation